Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakahakodash, Barakatum. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. And peace and salutations to you sincere Akim out there, pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. This is the Brother Ra'aya with another video, and I'm going to start it off with an article from meaww.com titled, "Is Putin Hiding in Siberian Bunker? Russian Prez's family reportedly in lavish nuke-proof refuge." Political scientist and former professor in Moscow, Valery Solovey, claims that Putin has sent his family to a nuclear bunker in Siberia. According to Valery Solovey, a renowned political scientist who has worked as a professor in Moscow, Russian President Vladimir Putin has allegedly moved his family into a nuclear bunker in the Siberian Altai Mountains. Solovey, 61, said that the luxury, high-tech bunker was located high up in the Altai Mountains in Siberia and was specifically designed as a shelter in the event of a nuclear war. And whether Putin moved his family here or not, this is just a sign of the times we're living in. The last seconds of the last days of the rulership of the heathen nations, chiefly the Edomites or the so-called white people, before the ushering in of the kingdom of heaven, ruled by the children of Israel, who are known as the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans today, because it's prophesied for nuclear war to take place, and it's also prophesied for these higher-ups, like President Putin, these other presidents, prime ministers, sheiks, billionaire tycoons, like Bill Gates or Jeff Bezos, and ultimately the elites, like the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, DuPonts, Gettys, Merovingians, you name it, to go to places like mountain bases, underground bunkers, you name it, to try to protect themselves from the coming calamities that Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai is about to bring on this planet. This is Revelation chapter 6. I'm going to start at verse 15. "And the kings of the earth, the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, and the great men and the rich men, your Vladimir Putins, Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, and the chief captains and the mighty men, and every bondman and every free man hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains, deep mountain bases." Again, according to Valery Solovey, a renowned political scientist who has worked as a professor in Moscow, Russian President Vladimir Putin has allegedly moved his family into a nuclear bunker in the Siberian Altai Mountains, hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains, and said to the mountains and rocks, "Fall on us and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, the Most High, whom you people ignorantly refer to as so-called God, whose true name is Yahweh, and from the wrath of the Lamb, his Son, Yahweh Shai Hamashiach, whom you people also ignorantly refer to as so-called Jesus Christ. For the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand?" So as we can see right here, according to prophecy, these higher-ups and elites are going to go to mountain bases and other places to try to protect themselves from the great day of Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai. And a lot of you elites and higher-ups are going to survive the nuclear wars, the famines that are coming to this place, the world wars, cataclysmic weather events, etc., etc., because you're going to be the first fruits of slavery in the kingdom of heaven, when Yahweh Shai Hamashiach leads the 144,000 of the elect to round up you elites first, and the rest of you heathen nations that survive the nuclear missiles to slap chains on you so you can begin building up the kingdom of heaven for the first 1,000 years of it. Let's get back into this article a little bit. I'm going to jump around a little bit. At the weekend, President Putin's family was evacuated to a special bunker prepared in case of nuclear war. This bunker is located in the Altai Republic. In fact, it is not a bunker, but a whole underground city equipped with the latest science and technology. I hope this means something to you, that the president sends his family to this bunker, the professor said in a video where he made his claims about Putin's whereabouts. Solovey has alleged that he got this info from his contacts inside the Kremlin. People believe that the site he is talking about is a sprawling mountain dacha built by energy behemoth Gazprom around a decade ago in the Angudayski district of the Altai Republic, a region in Siberia bordering Mongolia, China, and Kazakhstan. Eagle-eyed observers have spotted multiple ventilation points in the grounds surrounding the mountain hideout and a high-voltage line linked to an ultra-modern 110 kilovolt substation, enough to power a small city. German tunnel engineers had been present on site during the construction of the structure. That's it with this article. But like I just said, whether Putin moved his family here or not, we know that these higher-ups like Putin and ultimately the elites have mountain bases along with other safe retreats that they're going to go to try to escape the calamities that are going to befall this planet. But again, you higher-ups and elites are going to be safe from these calamities because you're going to be the first fruits of slavery in the kingdom of heaven. This is Amos chapter 9. I'm going to start at verse 1. I saw Yahweh standing upon the altar, and he said, smite the lintel of the door, that the posts may shake, and cut them in the head, all of them, and I will slay the last of them with the sword. He that fleeth of them shall not flee away, and he that escapeth of them shall not be delivered. And that he that's trying to flee away and escape of them are again you elites and other higher-ups. The Rothschilds, Rockefellers, DuPonts, Gettys, Bill Gates, your Jeff Bezoses, Vladimir Putin, along with these other presidents, prime ministers, and sheiks that survive. But as it says, they shall not flee away, nor escape or be delivered from them. From who? Those 144,000 hunters led by Yahushai Hamashiach, who are going to have spiritual bodies and hunt you elites and other higher-ups from your rat holes that you're hiding in. Though they dig into hell, thence shalt mine hand take them. And when you go into that word hell in the Strongs, it's Sheol, or the grave. So it's talking about underground and underground bunkers and bases, which we know exist. Your dumbs, deep underground military bases. Though they climb up to heaven, thence will I bring them down. Not only are these elites and higher-ups going to go into underground bunkers, but they're also going to go into space stations in low orbit, which I have a little information on. This is a clip from Wyon's YouTube channel titled, Will We See More Space Tourists in 2022? Though they climb up to heaven, thence will I bring them down. And according to the scriptures, you have three heavens. The first heaven, which is the regular sky. The second heaven, which is space, where some of these higher-ups and elites are going to flee to in space stations and other space modules, more specifically, low-orbit space. And then you have the third heaven, the spirit realm, where the Most High dwells.
The year 2021 has been a defining moment and will probably go down on the pages of space history. Apart from highly trained astronauts, we saw billionaires lifting off into space, ordinary citizens entering zero gravity. So, what should we expect from the space frontier in 2022?
Release. 2021 has been a breakthrough year in humanity's quest for space exploration. And 2022 is likely to continue the momentum. Billionaire entrepreneurs Richard Branson and Jeff Bezos gave us
$250,000 to experience zero gravity. And does the average Joe have $250,000 lying around to go to space? Of course not. These space projects that these billionaires and other people are coming up with are being designed for them to escape all the different calamities that are about to befall this planet. But they like to doll it up and deceive you people into thinking they're doing it for commercial and humanitarian causes. Look, we're coming up with space tourism, and it's a little expensive now, but as more people do it, it's going to become less expensive so the average citizen can go and explore the stars.
A glimpse of what their aerospace companies had to offer. A ticket to experience the zero gravity of outer space. But this is...
I'm going to jump to this part real quick, right here.
2022 mission. Next is spaceflight participant.
Japanese
Yusaku
fashion
Maezawa.
tycoon Yusaku Maezawa recently visited the International Space Station. The first visit by a self-paying space tourist to the orbiting outpost. Space has also now emerged as...
Though they climb up to heaven, into the second heaven in low orbit space, in these space stations and other space modules, thence will I bring them down. There's no escape for you up there either from those 144,000 spiritual hunters led by Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. And though they hide themselves in the top of Carmel, and Carmel was a mountain in northern Israel, and it's symbolic for these deep mountain bases that these higher-ups and elites are going to go to. And what did we just read about in that first article? According to Valery Solovey, a renowned political scientist who has worked as a professor in Moscow, Russian President Vladimir Putin has allegedly moved his family into a nuclear bunker in the Siberian Altai Mountains. And though they hide themselves in the top of Carmel, I will search and take them out thence. No escape there either. And though they be hid from my sight in the bottom of the sea, in luxury submarines which exist, as well as undersea bases. About a year ago, I did a video on how they're building undersea highways. Thence will I command the serpent, and he shall bite them. So not only are the 144,000 going to go underwater to get you elites and other higher-ups, but also that serpent, Leviathan, is going to get in some work on you as well. And like I've been saying throughout the video, you elites and other higher-ups are ultimately going to survive because you're going to be the first fruits of slavery in the kingdom of heaven. This is Psalms 149. I'm going to start at verse 4. For Yahweh taketh pleasure in his people, the children of Israel, who were again the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, as well as the Israelite foreigners who look like the other heathen nations right now. He will beautify the meek with salvation, beginning with the elect, the 144,000 and the rest of the righteous 1/3, the first fruits of the kingdom of heaven. And though 2/3 are going to be put to death on this side for their wickedness, they're going to be reborn righteous through the loins of the elect into the kingdom of heaven. Let the saints be joyful in glory, let them sing aloud upon their beds, the whole nation of Israel being at rest in the kingdom of heaven. Let the high praises of the Most High be in their mouth, and a two-edged sword in their hand, to execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishments upon the people. Execute vengeance upon you Edomites, or so-called white people, you Moabites, or so-called Chinese, the Ishmaelites, or the so-called Arabs, the Ammonites, or the so-called Japanese, the Hamites, or the so-called Africans, the Elamites, or the so-called East Indians, etc., etc., and punishments upon the people, gathering up you surviving heathen nations after this nuclear war and putting chains on you so you can serve as slaves for the first 1,000 years in the kingdom of heaven. But after that first 1,000 years, all of you heathens, except for the Edomites, will be allowed to go back to your lands and live in peace, though you'll still be under the subjection of the children of Israel and the laws, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. If you go off, you'll be punished accordingly. But as for you Edomites after that first 1,000 years, every Edomite man, woman, and child will be gathered up and permanently culled from this planet with fire. Verse 8, to bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron. And when you have chains and fetters of iron on you, what does that mean? You're a prisoner, you're a captive, you're a slave. To bind their kings with chains, the elites, the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, DuPonts, Gettys, and their nobles with fetters of iron. Your Vladimir Putins, Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos's, Richard Brand, these other presidents, prime ministers, and sheiks that survive, etc., to execute upon them the judgment written, as it says in Revelation chapter 13, verses 9 to 10, he that hath an ear, let him hear. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword, and he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. You Edomites and your elites that led the children of Israel into slavery and captivity, you're going to go into slavery and captivity. And we're going to do double unto you as you did unto us on this side, though we're going to do it in righteousness. This honor have all his saints. Praise ye Yahweh. Now I'm going to close it out in Isaiah 49, verse 23, just to further hammer in the point. And kings shall be thy nursing fathers, and their queens thy nursing mothers, slaves and servants. They shall bow down to thee with their face toward the earth, and lick up the dust of thy feet. And when you're bound down to somebody's feet, you're in a very low estate. You're in there under their subjection, and you can't do anything about it. And thou shalt know that I am Yahweh, for they shall not be ashamed that wait for me. The patience and the faith of the saints, beginning with the elect, the 144,000 and the rest of the righteous 1/3, the first fruits in the kingdom of heaven, who are going to get first dibs on you elites and other higher ups, as well as the rest of you heathens. This honor have all his saints. Praise ye Yahweh. Point blank, period. So that's it with this video. And with this video, I hope your sincere Akim and Akwath were edified. Just keep strong, as we can clearly see we're almost out of this final wicked captivity of the heathen nations, chiefly of the Edomites. And as always, I'm going to say Abad Babal, Kwam Yasharala, and until next time, Shalom.